We just want people to know.
How's it working?
That's probably one of the biggest, most helpful improvements we've made to the business is just making sure we do that every week. Because now there's so many projects going on that it's very unclear what's happening with the time.
Now, those are individual meetings or are they group meetings? Where
The team lunch is a big group meeting. It's just 1 hour. Where I'll talk about what's going on. Project manager will talk, engineering will talk. Everyone just talks 5 to 10 minutes on what they're doing. And what it does, what we find is, like, especially when you get in the psychology of employees, is if they don't know, they worry, or if they don't know, they inquire. Either one is a distraction. And so if we communicate to the team, here's where we're at on projects, here's a new website, here's a new product, they go, oh, okay, I have an update, and it's brain food for the week, and they go back and they just work harder.
wow. Yeah.
It makes a big deal. Even if things aren't going well, like, hey, we had an issue with cash flow, we're working on expenses, just to let you know, no one's in worry of losing their job, but we do need to fix these issues. It's just out of sight, out of mind, it doesn't work. So if we give them, just tell them what's going on, it eases people's trust, comfort, and raises their trust level for their decisions.
And this format really came out of the beginning. Jimmy was really great at doing a one-on-one with each team member, and that was easy when it was 4, 5, 6, even 10 people. Because he could personally talk about what was happening with the business, but once it got past about 12, was about the number.
So now you're at 20 people. So what's it going to be like when you have 50 people? What are you going to do then?
So
same idea is, like, I believe 4 to 6 is the optimal amount of action plans you can do with people.
Okay.
So I do it with the head of tech, head of customer support, my accountant, my head of project management, with Pat, and that's 5.
yeah.
They have 4 people, and it's like we just break it down in 5s, and there's team lead. My mindset, there's leaders, there's managers, team leads, and then there's just like mentors. And if you had 20 support people, whoever's the most senior should be with the other 3. It's not just about setting action plans from a management standpoint. It's also establishing behavior, culture, the way things work, how I can help you. Hey, my action plan is to work together to make you better doing this month. That's a good enough action plan. It doesn't have to be just, I need you to answer 100 phone calls a day. And that's management, that's just metrics. That's not action plans.
Right.
So, and you'll see even our support teams engaged, like they're doing research, they're developing a Facebook page, they are anything they can do so that they feel like they have purpose. It turns menial jobs into fulfilling jobs, even at a minimum wage level.
And you guys are on exactly the same page regarding your management and leadership methods? Sounds that way.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Is there any area of disagreement at the present time you're still working on resolving how you deal with a cultural issue or accountability or pay levels?
No, I don't think so.
No, not too much. We meet enough, we talk every week about that stuff, so we kind of stay in line.
Right. Good point. But now there's 2 of you at the partnership level. Are you going to bring in any other CEO, C-level executives as you grow to 50 or 100?
I'd say that one person we'd eventually, technology is probably the biggest gap. And probably eventually an operations manager, even at 50 employees or less, you don't need a C-level operations person. But I think we'll eventually bring on a head of tech. Because as you start getting 3 or 4 products, the roadmap needs to be thought of, and it's outgrowing me. Or even though I drive technology, I want to think about the market and what products are there. But to get good, we'll need a C-level technology person.
What about a financial person? CFO type? Controller?
Probably controller more than a C-level CFO. I just don't feel like we're big enough yet. The goal will be this year, technology, probably 2012, start looking at a controller accountant. But I have a master's in corporate tax, so I as long as we have a seasoned accountant, which we didn't hire a junior person, we hired someone who had about 10 years.
Yeah.
So that
In a complementary business too.
Yeah. In a software business, so it is one of the positions that we made sure we had a more senior person in.
This is actually an unusual situation in one respect. Usually the idea guy is not the CEO. Usually the operations or the guy that, the brick and mortar, the blocking and tackling. as the CEO. But in this case, you have such a deep business background that was perfectly appropriate to take on the CEO title.
Sure.
And you can do some of those things.
I think eventually, I mean, if we get to the point where we're 100 people and something like that, we may look for an operation. I think it'll just be flip-flopped where we'll have a COO who is a day-to-day internal operations person.
Yeah.
And then we just focus on strategy and lead the company from a branding and public perspective.
Well, I can continue going with all kinds of questions, but I think we've hit our time limit. Is there anything else that you want to add about your corporate culture that you haven't talked about already? That would be interesting.
No, I mean, what I believe is, I mean, people talk about Zappos and culture and stuff like that, but in reality, like, it's hard to say what culture is. I think it's a stigma. I mean, one of the things, like, I went to a training recently, and think of your company as a social ecosystem, just like a sports team or your high school class or the friends you hang out with.
Right.
And preserving that is more important than anything in the business. And if someone doesn't fit into that, they need to be removed, even if they're talented.
Right.
And thinking of your business in that way and supporting that just like a family, like if someone's out of line, they need to be spoken with immediately, but in a positive way. Working with people on just action plans, I feel, is the most effective way of management from a startup. Because I can just set 3 things for each person, make a note, check back in a month, set milestones. It allows people to have direction without micromanaging. And it's so important in small business, or any business, I mean, really any level, but you're so vulnerable when you're small. And you're starting to get to revenue, teetering to hopefully get to profitability. But if you're not on top of things that are important, not paying attention for 45 days, you could be out of money or something. If you screw something up incorrectly. So you gotta you gotta create a roadmap for trust for people.
How much time do you spend actually looking at the cash flow? Is it an everyday thing, every morning?
We have a weekly accounting meeting, but I manage cash flow every 48 hours.
Good.
Not every 2 days. I just have my account. If I call it green, yellow zone. Green means I know we're very comfortable. Then I'll monitor it once a week, I'm okay.
Okay.
But if we get to the yellow zone where receivables are behind, we'll monitor it 24 to 48 hours to make sure sales knows what they need to do, contracts are coming in. But if it's in green, I do it once a week. If I call it yellow, 24 to 48. If we're in red, you go after to raise money.
That's right. No, you don't. We never want to raise money to cover a cash flow issue.
Well, no.
You want to use, at this point, cash flow financing.
Well, sure.
Money is investor equity money you want to use for growth.
Yeah. But either way, I mean, whether it be a big contract comes in and it's sucking resources but you know it's worth it.
Right.
I mean, that's what I call the red zone, where it's not a thing where the business is failing, it's just we need resources.
Nice.
And it's eating up cash quicker than expected.
Right. Anything you want to say? Patrick?
Yeah, I mean, we've done interviews like this a few times before, and I think it always goes back to, for me, finding somebody you really have a lot of trust in, finding a great business partner is probably more important than any decision that we've made thus far with the business. Being an entrepreneur is not easy. It's in a lot of ways the most difficult thing I've ever done.
It is.
In business or life. And some days I'm up, some days Jimmy's up, but generally we're there to catch each other. And that's maybe a big difference.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate the interview and
Yeah.
hope it's helpful for the
Well, it's just, we advocate partnerships.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be equal. This one's equal.
Yeah.
But just the essence of it is that you catch each other.
Yeah. And there's gonna be days when one of you wants to quit, and the likelihood of the other person wanting to quit on that day is almost zero.
Yep.
But if you're by yourself, it's really easy to get on monster.com and look at that 6-figure job
Right.
and just go whatever, But when the other person's there and they're accounting for you, and then you get a team, and you start giving 20 people paychecks a month, and it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And the motivation is beyond yourself.
Well, okay, thank you very much. I know you have a very busy day, and I want to let you go to that. And if you have anything else you want to add to this, send it on in writing, and we'll make sure it's tacked onto the video.
Sounds great.
And we really appreciate the insight and mentorship you've given us, Rob. It's been great.
Oh, you're welcome.
Helping us with the Shark Tank and everything. It's been very valuable.
They won the Shark Tank.
Yep.
That's right. Shark Tank San Diego, not all ABC.
So, but very much due to your leadership there.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Well, and I'd like to see you succeed.
Yeah, appreciate
You
it.
will succeed. You are succeeding. Yeah. It's fun.
All right, cool.
All right, gentlemen.
All right, thanks a lot.
Take care.